The Palestinian came from Palestine for 3 years, from 1990 till 1993, till that moment when President Arafat and Prime Minister Rabin and President Clinton stood up in the White House and shook hands. As a matter of fact, in 1996, I became against Oslo. And this is maybe I failed to mention that. And part of the reason why, because I noticed that the Israeli negotiator weren't really honest with us in terms of sticking to all the points that we agree on that we have to implement as a result of this agreement within certain timeline. So the first option, the U.S. option, is like let them talk directly to each other. It's a failing policy. If you look at it, we always see things happen. They might talk for a week, for a couple days, but at the same time, while they are talking, they will be hitting civilians. They will be killing. They will be demolishing homes. They will be confiscating lands. So it's not working. Now, I want to jump from second one to third one, then go back to second option. Dr. Mustafa Barghouti also is a great friend. I worked with him in the 80s, as a matter of fact, and I worked with him in the beginning of the 90s when he came a couple times to visit the U.S., especially in Chicago. I used to fly from Pennsylvania to Chicago to meet with him. As a matter of fact, his brother Nasser and myself are the two who established the Palestinian student movement when I was, as I said, in 10th grade. But I try to be more realistic. Well, I agree with you. Is it going to work? Well, yeah, might. How many years it might take for this policy to work? We don't know. Might take 10 years, it might take 100 years. Okay, so I'm not quite sure. I really am not quite sure. But being someone who is, again, who's involved with politics and, again, involved with PLO for a long time, I will definitely go with the second option. I think President Abbas should do that, regardless of the pressure that the U.S. and Israeli government and Netanyahu or whoever put on him. He should move towards the Security Council. I suspect the U.S. will veto that. I suspect definitely will veto that. 14 will be for one U.S. veto. Then we have other option. Go to the General Assembly. We can get that through the General Assembly. And I bet you on anything, the moment the General Assembly will accept that, we'll have more countries accepting us as independent countries than all the countries that accepted Israel as independent from 1948 till now. So I will definitely go with this option. Any other question? Yes.
Do you see any potential for real optimism without the United States of America cutting its funding in a drastic way to Israel?
No. I think it's funding plus pressure. Because, we definitely need the U.S. to be what I will call an objective, again, partner in the whole process. That's important. But to continue to award Israel more and more money or more and more military assistance for all the mistakes that they continue to commit and the crimes that continue to commit against civilians is definitely a wrong move on behalf of the U.S. government. So I see that the U.S. government should reevaluate their foreign policy when it comes to the to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And it stands for once with what I will call the truth. Rather than, okay, we are traditionally in support with Israel. They are our stronger allies. So regardless what they do, we cannot even say one word to them. So they know that. They know that. Look into a lot of the Israeli leaders, including Netanyahu himself now, including Sharon before that. They even made fun of the U.S. government because they know, I mean, many statements that you can look into, and they made it very clear that they know how strong they are here. So that's why I'm saying, and I tell people, you know what? If you vote against a resolution that is against the state of Israel, doesn't mean that you will lose your next election. Unfortunately, most politicians in D.C. think that if I stand against AIPAC and against Israeli issues, I will lose next election. That's how they take it. Now, yes, money is an issue. It's very important. We have to put pressure on them based on that. But also, the pressure comes from other ways, not just money. We can really put pressure on them politically. That, you know, I mean, we do that all the time with other countries. Why not do it with Israel? Why we say, okay, well, if you want to continue to do this, we'll bring our ambassador from Tel Aviv, for example. It can be a symbolic move, but it still can happen. It can happen. So yes, definitely, I don't see really, even though I try to be optimistic, but I don't see a true solution unless the U.S. foreign policy changes towards this. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Okay, thank you very much for coming, everyone. Program is pretty much over now. We do have literature on this table for free. Anybody can pick it up. And I believe Professor Dabeet has some information here too.
I have my business cards
there.
Has
business cards here. Yeah. You're recommended to pick those up. We have a listserv you can sign to get on People for Justice in Palestine listserv, and that will inform you of any future events. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.